You're watching Dumas ISD TV.
They're going to throw it down the middle. They have Johnny Marquez open. He's at the 40 of Canyon. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. Johnny Marquez will score. What an answer for the Dumas Demons.
A one-play answer, no less.
He's back to pass. He's looking downfield. Now he throws it down the middle. Dumas is there with an interception. And that's Johnny Marquez with the ball coming back toward the Dumas sideline. That may be, is it Johnny?
Yes.
All right, and he's at the 20, and he finally gets thrown out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Back to pass is Mills. He throws it across the middle. Has a receiver open. It's going to be caught. Back to pass is Mills. They throw it back to Escarcega. He on a screen play. I think he's in for the score. Yes. Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Back to pass. He's looking deep downfield. He's throwing it deep downfield. Has a receiver open. It's going to be caught into Canyon territory. Here comes a man in motion back to the left, but they're going to hand it to Eduardo. He has a big opening. He's in for the score. Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Eduardo Hernandez. He's back to pass. Here comes a blitz. He steps up into the pocket, and now he throws it down the middle looking for Emino Marquez. He has it! He has it on the 1-yard line.
I think it's touchdown.
Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Here comes a receiver back to the right. Colton takes it, rolls to the right, throws it. It's going to be Coley on the catch. 2nd down and 1. Back to pass is Colton. He throws it over to the Canyon sideline. It's caught, thrown out of bounds. Back to pass is Mills. He's going to throw it down the middle, looking for Emino. He grabs it, what a catch! He's at the 40. He's at the 30. 20. Touchdown, Dumas Demons. 85-yard pass and catch. Here's the snap. Lopez is going to roll left. He's going to throw it down the middle, and it's going to be picked off. Emino Marquez. Back to pass is Mills. He's going to step up, throw it deep down the middle, looking for something, and it's caught. Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Mills is going to take it back to pass, look left, steps up into the pocket. He has a running room. He only has one man to beat, and he is going to be down, I believe, at the 1-yard line. To the right, he's back to pass, and they're going mano, Johnny Gutierrez, and I think he has it.
Incredible.
Touchdown, Johnny Gutierrez.
What a catch. He was double teamed.
Back to pass is Colton Mills. He escapes the rush. Now he throws it downfield. It's going to be caught, and that's going to be Coley, and he's in for the score. Touchdown, Dumas Demons. Saying there's 2 seconds on the clock. This will be the last play of the game.
O-line got blocked out.
39-yard field goal. Here we go. Zamarippa ready to go. There's the snap. The kick's on the way, and the kick is... It's good!
We did it! We beat him, baby!
Yes,
Let's go!
Yes,
Send them home! Send them home! Let's go!
That's just like what they won last year.
That's exactly like it.
Oh, yeah.
What a senior night in Demon Stadium.
You're watching Dumas ISD TV.
Welcome to tonight's edition of the Coaches Show with head football coach Aaron Dunnam. Coach Dunnam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Zane. Glad to be back.
We are in week 4, and it is road trip time. We're going to take a road trip. We get one road trip every month.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
One in August. This is the September road trip as we're going to head down to Plainview. Coach coming off of a 35-28 loss to Canadian. It was a game that was filled with momentum. Demons jumped out to a 14-0 lead to begin the game after 2 stops and 2 scores.
It was a good football game, you know, anytime. But again, I mean, we're trying to win them all.
Sure.
Disappointing loss, but at the same time, a lot we can learn and take from it. we've been challenged our team the first 3 weeks to start fast, of which we did. I thought our kids answered the bell there, started really fast, jumped up 14-0, and then really had a really rough second quarter. We break down everything, always checking data, and like 91 yards in the first. Allowed in the first quarter, and then something like 214 yards allowed in the second quarter. And so we just did not perform, to our standards defensively in the second quarter. And then also, 21 unanswered points. And so, just we got to be better there. Got into halftime, made the adjustments that we needed to make. And I thought we came out and played a lot better. Tied it up 28-28 in the fourth quarter. And it was a ball game, about 5 minutes left. And then just that last 5 minutes, they drive down, they score on us. We have the opportunity to get the ball back and didn't execute and do the things we needed to do. But had our chances, had our opportunities. Sure. And so I think you can learn from every bit of that. Now we need to look at that and find out how we seize those opportunities and we, make them work in our favor instead of, keep us from winning football games. For sure.
Well, let's talk about these guys again. We're going to mention them as backups because that's kind of where they started out this season. But I thought these guys played really well, which also talks to the play of your offensive line. Juan Carlos Corona, Connor Fry, again, they combined for 83 yards on just 14 carries. Those guys were very efficient.
I thought we were efficient running the football, and that was a challenge as well. I mean, from the previous games that we had seen on video, not many people have had a whole lot of success against Canadian running the ball, and so we were determined to do that. And I think are really proud of our offensive line. I think they're really starting to gel and do some things. We've been moving some guys around, just due to injury and different things, but they're really starting to work well together. And I thought we did a really good job running the football, and we're efficient. I mean, not that we had tons of yards, but very efficient when we needed to, and so proud of them for that.
Colton, arguably his best game of the season. I thought a good bounce back for him. He threw for 308 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Love how our kids are having the opportunity, to learn through these early games in this pre-district race. We talk about Colton, still a young football player, very, very young, sophomore. Had a lot of success as a freshman, and had a tough week, in week 2, and then just really bounced back. Just shows how our kids are being challenged and how they are accepting the challenges and just working really, really hard to be better and to step up. And really proud of him. I thought he had a great game and really, really delivered the ball really well, and had a great game.
Another guy that is taking advantage of an opportunity, defensive side of the ball, LD Balbuena, led the team in tackles and didn't even start the game in the position that he finished. So 12 tackles and a forced fumble.
Really proud of him, the way that he's playing right now. We've talked about him coming into the season. We had really high hopes for him. Didn't know, exactly how much he'd get on the field. Knew that he was starting in a backup role. Just proves, he's a kid that had limited reps in practice. But when he was put into the game, from the first snap, his first snap, he fit down off the tight end, tackled in the backfield, forced the fumble. And so just really proud of the way that he's playing and how he's seizing his opportunities. The future's bright for this young man. Just a junior, expecting some great things through him through the rest of the season and then leading into his senior season next year.
A guy that stepped up who is one of your seniors that's been a leader that I think that we've seen in each of the games. Dustin Coey had 10 tackles. He had a pass breakup and a QB hurry.
Just plays the game relentlessly. He does. Has a motor that just plays really, really hard. Dustin's a kid that we had high hopes for, expected. He was elected as a team captain, and so this is the effort that he's getting right now is something that we expect.
Sure.
Playing really well right now and just flying around making a lot of plays, and so he gave us the opportunities to to be in the game and to play well, and so really proud of him.
Another guy who's kind of been in the background, kind of in the shadows a little bit because you have so many playmakers on the defense. But a guy that made some huge plays, I felt like, in the game on Friday night was Eller too. He had 8 tackles and a sack.
Very consistent. He's not a kid that's super flashy, not that you're seeing, but yes, had a huge sack on a 4th down play. And then just sort of a hard hat, lunch pail type kind of guy, just really does his job there as an inside linebacker, fits within our scheme, and a guy that I just talked about it today, just a guy that just really is making some good plays for us and just is very consistent in his role on our football team.
Your defensive secondary, I went back and looked at this and was just kind of mind blown. I mean, you guys were on the field for over 80 plays defensively. Canadians like one of those teams where their short passing game is almost like an extension of their running game. So they're putting the ball in the air a lot. Your secondary combined for 35 tackles and had 7 pass breakups, which I'm trying to remember back a game where we had that many pass breakups. That's a great job from your defensive secondary.
Sure, I was really proud of them, and I thought they played well. Canadians good at what they do. Their tempo, you said, talk about over 80 snaps. I mean, we're not used to defending that many plays, and so I was proud of our guys. And a lot of those guys that you're talking about, in the secondary are two-way players. I mean, Reese Waddell got like 139 snaps in the football game. So really proud of just their ability to fight and to keep playing extremely hard. And I thought we were there to defend every one. The one that they actually scored to take the lead there in the fourth quarter was a very, very well defended play, and they just, they have a 6'6" receiver that just went up, caught it off of our back, and just made a play. And so that's expected. There's a reason why that they play for state championships, and because of the way that they execute. And they did when they had to have it, they executed well. But again, I'm proud of our kids, and we're gonna learn from this football game. There's so many great moments, positive moments in the game as well. We had some amazing catches there in that game to even keep us in the game. We had some, as we talk about the 214 yards allowed in the second quarter, we talk about our bounce back. Well, just as we talk about that and our shortcomings, we can also talk about our, 6 fourth down stops.
Yeah, that was exactly what I had next.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that there was a major bend but don't break.
Sure.
And I feel like that shows you a lot about your team. Because Canadian, they had some success between the 20s, but your defense, when they needed to, and even in big times where it looked like Canadian would get a turnover and they'd have a short field, man, the defense just really stood tall. And again, like you said, Canadian was 0 for 6 on fourth down conversions.
And I think that's big for us. You're always looking for those. I mean, I think first down defense, third down defense are always are key downs. But I mean, you look at every one of them. I mean, obviously, 6 fourth down stops is pretty impressive as well. And so what we got to find is we talked to our kids on Saturday morning. Why were we successful in those? And I think it's a mentality deal. I think our mentality shifted on fourth down, that we had to get a stop. And so we've got to find a way to get that mentality on first, second, third. Every down is important. And so I think that was a little bit of our shortcomings, is just our lack of focus. And Canadian has, hats off to them for what they do. I mean, they are a tempo offense, and they do try to get your tongues hanging out, and they try to get you in base defense and try to get you where you can't make adjustments because of their tempo. And so it was good for us to see. Saw it in the first half. I think we adapted and changed to it lots better in the second half. But it's going to really, really help us, I think, as we move forward. Because I believe the entire district race is going to be very similar to that football game.
Yeah, again, you can look back at these things, especially after the game's over, and I really think in a few weeks we'll look back at this week and that allowed us to grow.
Sure.
It allowed us to get better. We were challenged, put us in situations that you want to be in non-district play, so that you're ready when those games matter in district play.
Without a doubt. And Canadians, a team that I knew when we got them on the schedule was going to be a team that would do that to us. I mean, they execute at a really high rate, and they did that. They did that on Friday night, and you look at time of possession, you look at everything, and everything was just very, very close. And very indicating of the score as well. I mean, a 7-point ball game that was decided in the last 5 minutes of the football game. So really good game for us. Definitely wanted to come out on the other end of it, but we're going to take our opportunity to learn from this and grow. And I think our kids will do that.
Well, Coach, tonight, second straight year, you're going to travel down to Plainview. Again on their homecoming night. Sure. I mean, and again, as we talk about what you want to face in non-district play, you talk about coming off of a huge emotional game here in Dumas, big crowd, a lot of hype and atmosphere leading up to the game, and then you're going to travel down to Plainview where it's going to be wild and crazy on homecoming night. There's going to be people everywhere. There's going to be Plainview people sitting right next to us in the stands there on the visiting side. We know that it's going to be they're a consistent team. They've continued to improve on some of the success they had last year in non-district play. It's a great opportunity again for your team to go out, face a quality opponent, and get better on Friday night.
It is, and the environment's going to be huge.
Sure.
It really is. You always know about about Plainview and their band and their people sitting on our side and homecoming. They're going to have a packed crowd, and so we're excited about that. I mean, we've talked about that opportunity, and it's just really another opportunity just for us to just get better. I mean, every time that we take the field, win or lose, there's certain things that we need to work on, and here is. That's what this pre-district is all about. It's all about seizing your opportunities. It's all about being able to reinforce the different things where we weren't very good and to get better, and that's going to be in front of us. And as you talked, a really good Plainview football team, a program that they've come in there, a new coach, but he was on staff already, and so the kids are super comfortable with him, and they've played some good people here in these first 3 weeks. A really close game with Randall, a 10-point game, a 10-point ball game with Hereford, and so. Plainview has had to play 4-quarter games, very similar to what we had to play last week, and we're going to get a good football team. It's a football team that really doing some great things. They got a quarterback that's really talented, some really good receivers that they can get the ball to, and a defense that's playing aggressive style defense. And so it's going to be a great football game for us, and one that we're going to have to execute and be on top of our game in order to win this game.
Well, let's talk defensively first. What do you think is going to be key for the Demons as they face this Plainview offense?
I definitely think it's going to. I mean, they're a big RPO team. I mean, they're getting into run style formations of which they still throw the football, and so we've got to understand that. There's going to be some one-on-one coverage times with us just by formation that we can't help and we can't do anything about it. And so we're going to have to be able to make those plays. Yeah. It's going to put our defensive kids on an island at times. We're going to have to be able to make those. Something we didn't do real well in our first 2 ball games. We had 2 turnovers in each game. This last one we didn't. We're going to have to be aggressive on the football, try to create some turnovers, get the ball back to our offense, and then just I think we're going to have to be able to. You talk about the bend but don't break. I mean, they're going to make some plays.
Sure.
Their quarterback's talented enough. I think also, his ability to scramble when we are in coverage. He does a great job of pulling the ball down and scrambling. So we're going to have to make sure that we're aware of that as well and be able to defend that. And I think that's going to be the success of our defense if we can do that.
And if I remember right, I mean, their quarterback, similar to us, I think started as a freshman.
He did.
And I think now he's a junior.
He is a junior.
And so, he's – again, relatively a young guy. I mean, when you look at varsity actions, a lot of times your juniors are guys that are just kind of coming on varsity and getting their first action. But this guy is a veteran as a junior.
He is, and you can tell. I mean, understands what he's doing, throws the ball really well. They do a great job of, their back shoulder fades and putting the ball where the receivers can go make plays. And just like last year, I mean, they made those plays against us, and we've seen it on film over and over that they make them. And so that's going to be a challenge for us. But I really am excited about our kids and our opportunities. And I think we'll come out and play a really good football game.
I do too. Offensive side of the ball, what do you think is going to be key for the Demons to move the ball and score against this Bulldog defense?
I think we're going to have to establish the run game. I do. They are aggressive, but I think we're going to have to be able to to dedicate ourselves to being able to move the football via the run. And then, they're aggressive in the secondary. I think just being able to understand, I mean, they play some man coverage, some man free, aggressive in the back end, really get up and get their hands on receivers. And so we're going to have to be able to handle that,
yes.
To be able to, to get our man concepts and be able to beat those guys in one-on-one coverage and catch footballs. And then I think we're going to have to continue to grow on our offensive line. Our offensive line is going to have to do a great job of protecting our quarterback when we decide to throw the football. And then just a big challenge is just to make the plays. I mean, make those routine plays, that we're expected to make, that we need to make. And I think our kids will seize those opportunities as we, it's so neat. I mean, this game is so amazing, and it teaches you so much, just as we talked about last game and kids making those plays and then we didn't make those. I mean, that's life. and just being able to watch our kids be able to handle that adversity and be able to, to maneuver through that. There's so many ways that you can approach that. There's so many, but we have a football team that doesn't point fingers. We have a football team that believes in one another, that loves one another, and so that was our charge. Taking that, and I love that our kids have another opportunity on Friday night to go out and make those plays, and I can guarantee you they're ready to make them.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great atmosphere as we head out and go on the road again for the first time in a few weeks. And I mean, you're going to be thrown into the fire. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be.
Well, hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll find out some more from Coach Dunnam on the personal side. We'll also talk about some of the other games that are taking place tonight. Dumas Demons getting ready to take on the Plainview Bulldogs in Plainview. We'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back to the Coaches Show. We've got some quick hits, college football version this week. Hey, let's talk about where you'd want to go see a home game in some of these conferences. Let's start with the SEC.
Definitely got to go with my favorite team out of that, and that'd be Alabama. I'd love to be able to go to a football game there and see that. Maybe a bucket list, would be the Iron Bowl or something like that. Man. I think would be really, really fun to see.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely that.
I think you look at the SEC and you look at the uniqueness of the stadiums there. I mean, Neyland Stadium, where Tennessee plays, for I think a while was one of the largest, along with Michigan. But then they added Texas A&M and Texas, that both have stadiums that seat over 100,000 people. Growing up in the 90s, I always kind of thought that like the swamp was pretty cool in Florida.
Sure.
And of course, Georgia's success and Auburn. I mean, there is just historic after historic place in the SEC.
That'd be really fun. I don't know if you could pick just one. I think I'd have to line them up and maybe try to make it to every one of them.
And then it's like I think there's like legendary tailgate that goes on. I'm pretty sure it's like Ole Miss,
like down in the tree, the cove or something down in the. Yeah, I've seen that. And, so it's a really neat deal.
It is a lot of cool places. Let's scoot over to the Big Ten.
As you talk about it, you talk about the Big House. I think that's probably the top of them.
Sure.
You'd like to see a game there. Also you talk about Nebraska. They sell out. I don't know they've sold out for I can't remember and haven't been real successful lately. But I like Coach Roll as well, and so I think that'd be a really big game to see also.
I think in the Big Ten for me, a night game, whiteout game at Penn State.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That place is crazy. And then, of course, I think you got to mention the horseshoe, Ohio State.
Sure.
Again, each one of these conferences with just legendary places when you think about being able to play. Let's move a little bit closer to home here, the Big 12.
This is crazy because the Big 12 has changed so drastically.
Man, huge.
You talk about. I've always been a University of Texas fan, and you talk about that, but that's not even them now. And so I don't. After all this change, I don't even know who's all in it. But I'm going to go with. I'm just going to go with something local. I think it'd be really cool. I know you've seen a lot of them here, but Tech would be a good one. I think the crowd's always rowdy. I don't even know if they still throw the tortillas and different things, but I think it's a rowdy place, and definitely it'd be close to us to get to, and something I'd be able to get to.
I went last weekend. It was the first time that I've been since they've done opened the new South End Zone, and I was kind of like just standing there like I can't believe that this is in Lubbock. It makes it look like a completely different place.
Yes, sir.
I think again another place from growing up in the 90s and seeing them be successful in the 90s a lot was. And I know it's kind of gotten a little popular again, but Colorado, it just always has kind of looked like a cool stadium, just kind of sitting there on the edge of the mountains.
Yes, sir.
And, and I know in the 90s, I guess today, the atmosphere was wild back then. I'm trying to think. Cordell Stewart, I think, was the quarterback back then. And
is that like Eric Bieniemy was?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so that just always kind of seemed like a cool place. And, now I kind of think like, I don't know, UCF. I wouldn't mind going to a game in Florida.
Sure. I agree. I think that'd be cool.
Down there.
A lot of new ones on the Big 12.
There is, yeah, for sure. The ACC.
Definitely would probably be Clemson. Where they is that where they run down through the rock through the middle and they run down the middle of the
Death Valley? I think
in the end zone.
That and LSU, kind of both Death Valley.
Yeah, I think that'd be really really cool to see
for sure. Yeah, Florida State. I think seeing stick that thing in the ground with the fire going off.
No doubt. Sure. They're struggling a little bit right now, though.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how many people are going to be at their next game.
Actually be able to get tickets to that. The one that kind of sits by itself is Notre Dame. There's, again, when you talk about iconic college football stadiums, Notre Dame definitely up there on the list.
Sure, I think that would definitely be a bucket list type kind of game to see there. I've never, I'm not a huge Notre Dame fan, but I think it would still be really, really neat to see. I actually used to. Back in the day, that was, we had the starter jackets.
Oh yeah.
And I actually had a Notre Dame starter jacket. I did. I had one. Who was the really good punt returner, receiver.
Rocket
Ismail. Yeah. So I did. At one time, I did like Notre Dame and had me a starter jacket. So.
All right. I love it. Let's go to the non-Power 4. These are a little bit tougher to think about. one that just kind of comes to mind is the blue field at Boise State. Just to see it, I don't know how special the stadium is there in Boise.
I think it'd be, I'd probably go with that as well. It'd be a neat, probably a neat stadium to see. On the blue turf, and I mean they've played really good football there too. So
sure. The only other one that comes to mind, and it probably has nothing to do with football, but I mean, let's go see a game in Hawaii.
No doubt, I agree with that. Sure, I'd have a hard time getting over there. I don't really like flying, and then flying over water has always been a little iffy for me. And so maybe I don't know. They'd have to put me to sleep before I went there.
There you go. Well, let's stick just with one more thing with college football. What's the best college football rivalry? You might have mentioned it already.
Well, I think that, but I think there's one really close to us, and I think you're going to see another one coming. I think we could name a lot of them. I mean, I think the Red River rivalry of OU and Texas has always been special, and how they play that, in the Cotton Bowl. I think that's huge. I think we're going to see another one at Kyle Field this year. I think we're going to see the University of Texas and A&M. I think it's been over 10 years since they played each other, but you talk a lot about. The Iron Bowl is another one that's a huge rivalry, and so just with the closeness to me of the OU Texas, I think that's pretty special.
It is. Those are. It is. Drop everything, figure out what's going on in these games.
Sure.
It's always fun weekends for sure. Last week we talked about what it was like for a home game. For a burning question today, let's describe an away game. I know the morning stuff doesn't change much, but talk about what it looks like away game-wise.
Sure, the morning stuff's the exact same. Still get up here, but this does allow you to at least get to the game a little closer, or at least the process of it. Anytime that you're heading out of town, you are leaving, you're starting the process earlier, so our kids are out of class, we're loading the bus, we start out here, with just I would like for somebody to come and watch how that process works, and of the coaches of getting. Sure. We don't just go over there and take a football on our pads and show up. The process of loading our trailer, from getting the buses here to getting all of our training equipment, and it's a process from getting our extra man trunk. We load so much stuff, and we hit the road that we have here. And so that process starts. We get our kids out. We get our kids out of class early. We get them on the bus, and so that process starts early. We start focusing on the bus. Our kids get on the bus. We get quiet. Many of them go to sleep. And then we try, before we get, about 30 minutes outside of where we're getting, we try to wake up our kids and get their bodies ready. We don't want to pull into town. We try to get to the stadium right around 4 o'clock everywhere that we're going, so we can keep our process the same. And then at around 4:15, we start our pregame walkthrough of where we get out, we get in our position groups. I really, really like to watch that. I think our kids do a really good job of getting their minds ready and preparing. Everybody has their own way, and we really try not to get in front of that, but they get in their position groups at 4:15, and we're out on the field, and we take over the entire field, and kids are warming up and going through their different things, and coaches are trying to get their minds right as well. We finish that at about 4:50. We meet in our end zone. We talk to our kids, and the process starts. We get into the training room. We start rapping. We start getting dressed. First group is out around 5:30, 5:40, and the process just continues, just like it would at home. We're out going through our warm-up. We have 3 different groups that go out, first group, second group, third group. So we come out in waves, go through our routine, and then we're back into we've changed this a little bit as well. We used to head out a little bit earlier. We felt that we were coming back in the locker room and had too much downtime. Okay. And so it happens really fast. We've changed that a little bit, and so we get back in, and literally we've got, we meet as a staff, we gather and talk as a staff, we pray together as a staff, always, every game. We put our arms around one another, we talk about what's expected of us as a coaching staff, how we need to be together. We pray. Then I meet with team captains. We talk about the coin flip and what our team captains need to do about leading our football team. And then after that, we get with our kids and we talk with our entire team for about about 5 to 7 minutes before we take the field, and at that time, the officials are calling for captains, and we're taking the field. So that's the process. Away games allow us to get away from maybe the home environment and knowing so many people and having so many interactions with people. We get off with just our team, our training staff, our coaches, and our kids, and just it's a neat environment. I love playing at home, but it's also there's some perks too, to getting your team on the field and
Sure.
being as a group and being together. So,
and Plainview is a place that you're familiar with
We are.
playing. What's unique or good about being able to be at a place like that where we could almost say it's becoming like a home away from home?
sure, I think familiarity is huge. I mean, definitely. You want your kids to understand, sort of where we're going, what the locker rooms look like, what's our processes, where are we going to be? Are we going to be able to spread out? It's going to be a small locker room, big locker room. I really don't care what it looks like.
Sure.
I'm about space. If we can just spread our kids out. I don't care. I mean, we can sit on the floor. We can figure all that stuff out. But I do like space. I like to be able to spread our kids out and not be crammed in one space. But being familiar with the field, playing on it before.
Yeah.
All surfaces are different, and so I'm excited about that. I like that. We've played there and have played well there. So
I agree. Well, it's going to be fun.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about some of the games going on this weekend. Again, a couple of these games when this airs will already be done, but we'll go ahead and at least be able to talk about them. A couple Thursday night games from district teams. Canyon seems to be in the Thursday night groove of things. They'll travel to Dick Bivens Stadium, play at Caprock.
They are, and played a good game last week. A close Paladura game of which they won. Caprock's coming off a big win. Went into Pampa, and I think Caprock has just been grinding, getting better, and so it's an interesting game. When Caprock went 12-0 with Paladura, and so they've showed some good improvement. So this is an interesting football game.
Another game being played on Thursday night at Happy State Bank Stadium in Canyon is Wichita Falls Legacy going to Randall. I'm confused at which schools.
Sure, so am I.
Wichita Falls, but Randall getting one of these schools back at home.
Sure, and I think Legacy's the one that has struggled a little bit more than the other one, Memorial. But Randall's definitely playing good football right now. I think Legacy, I think they gave up over 70 points last week to Friendship.
Goodness.
I think it was like 70-7,
Okay.
of which Friendship's a good program. So, but I definitely think Legacy's going to have their work cut out for them with the Randall team that's playing really good right now.
Big game going down in Abilene. Number one, Stephenville going to travel to Abilene Wiley.
Wiley's has made some really big-time improvements over the last few years. They played some really good football. Stephenville is where they've always been. I don't think they've missed a beat. Playing good football right now, and I think that's going to be a good game. But I think definitely Stephenville probably has the upper hand on that one.
I would say so.
Yep.
Emerald High going to play a road game at home.
Yeah.
They will be the visiting team against Paladura.
A lot of crosstown. I mean, I think they've played each other for a long time.
Sure.
And so I think the emotions will be really high in this game, and you got to be careful, that they don't control it. But I think it's going to be a good football game. Definitely, pulling for my brother in that one.
100%. Tascosa got a tough one. They'll travel down to Ratliff Stadium and play Permian.
Saw Permian, a couple of weeks ago, played a really hot Abilene High team, of which they beat there, at Permian. So I think this is another tough one. I think Tascosa's playing better since their loss to Paladura. So I think it's interesting. I mean, I don't definitely think it's not a football game that you're just gonna say Permian's gonna take this one. I mean, I think it's gonna be a really good football game, and played in a pretty awesome atmosphere and environment.
No doubt. This one, I think, another great game, another great matchup. Waco La Vega traveling to Brownwood. I think that they were district opponents maybe
They have been
for a couple of years. But this non-district game, Waco La Vega at Brownwood.
At Brownwood's really cool. That's just a pretty neat stadium, a neat place to play. A lot of history behind that stadium. But I can't remember. I was a little bit taken away by one of Brownwood's scores in the last couple of weeks. I can't remember exactly where it was. I think it was really, really close, like a 7-point ball game, maybe to Wall or something.
Yeah, I think so.
And so I think this is a big one. Waco La Vega, very, very talented team. That isn't the Waco. I mean, I don't know about this year, but the last couple of years, not the team that they've been in the past. I mean, playing year in, year out in the state championship. But I think this will definitely be a good football game.
I agree. One of the longer road trips in the Panhandle that teams could take is Perryton traveling to Hereford to play.
Hereford's playing good football right now. But also, Perryton has come out on the short end, but I think they're playing. I think they're fighting. You look at last week's score, and I talked to Josh. I think somewhere in the fourth quarter it was 30-something to 19 and pretty close, and then just had some turnovers, some different things. But I know that Coach Hernandez will have them ready to play. But again, a really, really tough football game for Perryton as they head into a pretty hostile environment in Hereford. But interesting to see how this is. Definitely because Perryton's playing almost every one of our district opponents.
One of the biggest, I think, rivalries that goes on in the Panhandle is between Borger and Pampa. It's one that's been played, maybe as much or more than between any two teams that have played each other. We used to. I grew up in Pampa. You lived in Pampa for a little bit too. They would joke that in the nursery at First Baptist Church there was something that said "Love God and Hate Borger." And so these two teams love to hate each other. They're playing each other in Pampa on Friday night.
Not quite the rivalry that it's been in the past. I think I remember this game a lot of times when maybe even played on a Saturday.
Yeah,
at noon. I remember because it was just such a huge rivalry.
Yep.
And I think it's still there. It's maybe lost a little bit of steam, but it might be back. With Coach White coming back, leading a Pampa native. Leading the program. And definitely, Borger's got a little momentum. They came off a big win last week. Pampa hasn't. They were one game, then not the next. And so, but I think you can throw every bit of the records out anytime you play a rivalry game. And so interesting to see how this is, just due to the fact that Pampa's in our district and we have played Borger. So
I know another game that you're going to have an eye on, be looking back at. And this may be one of the biggest games in the Panhandle between West Plains and Bushland. West Plains traveling to Bushland.
Real close game. Just down the road about a couple of miles.
Sure.
And so I think this is going to be a really, really big game. Bushland's playing good football right now, and so is West Plains after their very first game that they dropped. But I think this is going to be a huge one. A district opponent, and Bushland being our next week game. So I will have my eyes on this. Very interesting to see how this goes, and I think it's going to be a really, really tough football game.
I do too. Well, Coach, excited about this one.
Yes, sir.
Again, as the Demons get ready to face off against the Bulldogs. Can't wait to see what's going to go on.
I'm excited about it. Looking forward to getting back on the field. Definitely
so. Hey, well, thanks for joining us. Just a reminder, as this pregame goes off, you're going to need to get on the HUDL app to follow our broadcast of it. We'll be on the HUDL Fan app. You can get that on your phone, which if you make Dumas one of your favorites, it's easy to get on there once the game goes live to find it. There is a Roku app. It's a little bit more difficult to find the game on there, but definitely tune in to the HUDL app. You want to see the broadcast. Demons and Bulldogs up right after this.